AMMO presents the new Precision Pigment Brushes in both number 4 and number 8 sizes. The effects and the brush strokes used with the pigment and the surface will determine the effect. The Precision Pigment Brushes are made of high-quality synthetic hair. The bristles are short and somewhat harder than normal brushes. This allows you to fix the pigment to the surface without damaging the brush. The shape of the brush allows you to pick up enough pigment to make even lines, like this one. Working on the correct surface is essential. Ideally, a surface with tooth, or that is matte. Here you can clearly see how the pigment does not adhere when applied to a satin or glossy surface. However, when the surface is matte, most of the pigment will adhere to the surface, without the need to use a pigment fixer. The difference between a normal brush, like this one, and the new Precision Pigment Brushes is enormous. With these specialized brushes, you have total control of the pigment. Pigments are essential to dioramas. Having these brushes gives you a great advantage. First, the Precision Pigment Brushes are used to carry the pigment and deposit it in place. In this example, 2 shades of pigment were used. Note that they can be blended perfectly. Using the brush at a 70-degree angle, the surface was stippled to guide the pigment into the little nooks and crannies of the asphalt. The process then continued on the rest of the scene. If necessary, you can use the number 8 Precision Pigment Brush to cover more surface area quickly. The same process was then repeated on all necessary areas. A clean brush was then used to gently remove the excess. As you can see in this example, it was not necessary to use any fixer because the design of the brush makes the pigment adhere by themselves. The Precision Pigment Brushes are highly useful for working on figures. These brushes also allow you to work with any type of thinner. In this case, enamel odorless thinner was used. The mixture was stirred, resulting in a dense paste. The wetted pigment mixture was then loaded into the tip of the Precision Pigment Brush and applied to the figure's boots and knees. Once dry, the effect is very realistic, although there is still one more step to go. With the brush clean and dry, the previous step was blurred and blended. The stiffness and length of the Precision Pigment Brush makes this step easy. From time to time, clean the brush on a napkin as you continue the blending process. If necessary, you can fix the work with a pigment fixer. Not even aircraft escape the versatility of Precision Pigment Brushes, as shown on a cockpit. The brush was first loaded with pigment and deposited directly on the cockpit floor without blending. Using a clean brush, the excess pigment was removed before blending and softening the effects. The dust effect in the cockpit must be subtle, so pigment fixer was not used. The hair of the Precision Pigment Brush is enough. For weathering vehicles, the Precision Pigment Brushes are absolutely essential. The pigments were picked up with the brush and worked into the corners and recesses. Using the same brush, different shades of pigment were then added and blended onto the surface. Thanks to the shape of the brush, you can also create accumulations in recesses and hard-to-reach areas. As you can see, with just one brush, you can achieve many different effects. The Precision Pigment Brush can also be used to represent streaking effects on the sides of vehicles. A small amount of pigment was first applied to the lower edge and dragged upwards. The pigment was then dragged downwards again, easily creating natural accumulations of grime. The effects were then sealed in place using pigment fixer. The Precision Pigment Brushes are also useful for creating textures on any type of model in any scale. For this example, Arming Putty Classic diluted with extra thin cement was prepared. The mixture was applied by stippling it onto the surface. The large surface area of hair contained in the Precision Pigment Brushes allow for a large surface area to be covered in a few minutes. With a second coat, texture was added, stippling the Precision Pigment Brush as perpendicularly as possible to the putty. Simply allow the piece to dry for 24 hours before priming and painting. Another simple way to add texture is by using the No. 8 Precision Pigment Brush and Sand Color Anti-Slip Paste. Place the product on a non-absorbent surface and moisten the brush. Apply the product using a tapping motion on the surface, placing the Precision Pigment Brush perpendicular to the surface. Allow the first coat of anti-slip paste to dry for 1 hour. If necessary, repeat the process to intensify the texture. This and all products you have seen in this video can be found on our website, www.ammo.es. Discover many more videos on our YouTube channel. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and activate notifications. Thank you for watching.